Hello everyone, my name is Teru and you know me probably as Brainfluff Bujo from Instagram, or maybe you have just found this video by chance. Anyway, today I'm bringing you a sort of art video where I'm doing a time lapse of me creating a sort of fan art for Avatar, the metal band. Actually, this wasn't planned to be Avatar fan art. I just started somehow sketching while listening to the music a few days ago, and it ends up whatever it ends up. As you can see, I'm already pre-sketching the person. It's like a little bit visible. I am not claiming to be a very good artist or someone who can do a pretty rendition of a person, but I'm still trying. It actually is going to be purposefully not perfect, like posture wise, or I am planning to give this person a hat, so that's what I've sketched out as well. And as you can see, I'm just continuing to sketch and sketch quickly so I can start filling it in. I'm actually planning on using a sparkly watercolor by Lisilinka, which I received back in April for my birthday. So this little pencil pre-drawing process is really just a bit, and it's not really the main focus of the drawing or painting actually. I wasn't sure what pose I want to give him. I ended up putting a hand against his mouth and kind of hiding it. I want to remain kind of true to whatever the music is about and make it a little creepy, maybe a little unsettling to look at, but at the other hand, really just kind of, you know, it's supposed to look kind of like Johannes, but also it's not really Johannes 100%. So I don't know if we can relate it to him or not. Anyway, this one is mostly just, weirdly, scarily, creepily, kind of not aesthetic and yet aesthetic a lot, at least to me. I was really excited for the use of the sparkling watercolor later on and just wanted to get it over it, so I'm just really doing this quite quickly. Also, I'm really sorry that there's no music in the background today. It's really just because if I had to put on any music, it would probably be some Avatar music, as that was what inspired me. But I do not want to do that. I do want kind of this video to not be sued for copyrights or something, so I'm just going with a silent one. But if you want to, by all means, just play Avatar in the background. Meanwhile, as you can see, I have moved on to the fine liner sketching part, and I think it's coming quite nicely, honestly, just adding some more lines and refinement. Actually, he still has both eyes, which will not be the case at the end, but for now I'm just really finding the basic shape that I want to go for. And now for the creepy smile. I actually honestly love the way Avatar have their aesthetics set, and the like red and black, and especially like Johannes is such an inspirational person. So I'm not sure if I'm doing him justice with this, but I'm still kind of strangely proud of this painting. So we'll see. Right now it doesn't really look like much yet. I'm going over with my Ecoline brush pen, which I honestly love. I use it most of the time to do like light shading or just, like off white or kind of dirty old white, which is a really nice touch for this, I think. Then I'm using my Tombow red, also a brush pen to do the suspenses, I think they're called. The colors, by the way, I'm not sure for the Tombow because I don't have the number on it yet. But for the Ecoline, it's 730 and 8. Now I'm just going over it with a wet brush to kind of smudge the edges a little bit and start filling it with the watercolors. These are just basic school supply kind of watercolors actually that I'm using for the shades other than the sparkles that I'll be adding later. So you don't really have to look for them. It's probably something that you would just find at home. And I'm definitely just using whatever I found at home. So that's about it. I'm trying to make him really pale, so I'm not adding much of the color, just a little bit, so he doesn't look so white. And then I am deciding, oh, I might as well smudge the redness a little more into his face, so that's what I'm doing right here. Now it looks pink, but it will look okay once the painting is complete, so no worries. I'm moving on to the hat and starting with the black. Also black around the eyes so it starts looking more like himself, and moving on to the creepy mouth that is also in black. It is already starting to kind of get its shape. By the way, right now I'm around like an hour and something into this process, which has been condensed into 7 minutes. Really at this point I'm just hoping the video won't be too long. Now I'm also adding a little bit of red and back to the black. As you can see, I'm making the hat really black so it stands out. It's a really funny shape, but that will also kind of disappear later in the picture. I'm kind of liking it as of now, although he kind of looks a little bit bold at that moment, but that's going to change later as well. It's still just a work in progress, still using just the basic watercolors. I will actually strive to get like proper aquarels or maybe even like some gouache or something. But for now, I'm using what I have, which is basically just watercolors. A little blue for the eyes. And again, since the eye looked a little too white, I'm going back with the Ecoline brush to kind of blending in a little bit and then add some sparkle or shine or whatever with a Sakura white jelly roll. Back with the shading, just a little bit. Now he's starting to look like a weird kind of Voldemort, that painting on his face. But I'm leaving it as it is for now and just putting some red background. This is just one of a few layers that I'm going to do because I will not be leaving the red this vibrant. That's not the vibe I'm going for, at least not for the background. I want the person to stand out a little more, so this is just really the first layer of red that I'm doing. I don't think I've ever done a picture that is as red as this, so it's quite a new experience for me actually. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. Honestly, the red is somehow such an aggressive color, and yet I really love the effect it makes here. I'm purposefully not doing like a precise job with the strokes. This whole thing is supposed to be kind of messy, kind of like creepy and not too pleasant to look at, yet strangely captivating. So I hope I'm really doing it justice at least a little bit. more red, just filling it in and changing for a smaller brush so I can do the more detailed parts. Just like that. So the first layer of the background is done, and just going over it in places that I feel need a little more red hue to them. Now he looks really pale, really white, really bold. And now that's what I meant, because really I didn't want to have like a big red shiny background, so I'm going over the red with like a diluted black so I can make it a little darker in color. Oh my god, my English is not really helping me today. Yeah, just put a little bit of black on top of it so it's darker and doesn't shine as much. Again, I'm not trying to make it perfect or even. Then there's a part of me just putting some like dirt or stains on the shirt and deciding that I will not actually have the other eye that visible. Again, just some shadows and filling in something a little bit around the edges. And just, going around it to make the person pop up a little more. We still have him bald, but that's going to change, no worries. To me, this was actually kind of a step out of a comfort zone because I usually am not really good at painting people and I don't really enjoy it. I usually do like flowers or animals or whatever, or something that's not really humanoid. So doing this for me and actually posting it online is a big step in a direction that I want to go, of being okay with my art and being able to share it with people. As you can see, I have already started adding the hair. Again, I'm just using a basic watercolor for the base of the hair so I know where they're going. And now it's already starting to look like him a little bit. I also want the hair falling into his face, like the whole thing being a little messy. So that is what I'm going for now. Just hair everywhere. Again, this flowing, floating hair strands are supposed to add to the feeling of like uneasiness and maybe like demonic energy or something. Seriously, why is it not spooky season yet? This is such a spooky video and it's only September. I should have posted this like later, but I had a spooky mood, so yeah, you get a spooky thing out of me everywhere, even on YouTube, which is not really what I usually do. I'm so bad at managing this account. So, what do you think so far? As of now, I'm kind of at the stage where I'm like, okay, so whatever I do next might actually ruin this, but also I kind of like it. I decided to add a little more color and then finally move to the Lisilinka watercolors. For this, I am using the shade Polar Night, which is like a turquoise slash blue slash green with a little really, really high pigmentation. And for the hair, I'm using my probably favorite sparkly watercolor of all time, which is Midnight. Midnight is this nice, gorgeous, thick black color with holo sparkles in it, and it looks so magical, so gorgeous. I've seen people use it for like butterflies or moths or some like really aesthetic, pretty paintings. And I thought, oh, why not use it for something a little bit different? So that's what I'm doing. I'm giving Johannes holo hair. Just wait for the holo to set in and for it to be just like beautiful and gorgeous. Honestly, even now, and it's been a few days, I could just like turn around, put a light on the color and just stare at the beautiful, beautiful holo sparkles. They look so amazing against the black. I know you cannot really see it right now since I'm not really focusing on the sparkles yet, but you will definitely see it once the process is done. Just basically going over the hair that I've already drawn. I think that it would be okay to just paint with the midnight, but I kind of wanted to save some of the sparkly watercolor because they're not really cheap. And so I'm kind of doing just one layer that is not as thick, using the watercolor underneath it to add more black to it. But really, you could just go with the midnight, and I'm pretty sure it would be pigmented enough to show up as black. Careful around the eyes. I'm always so scared that I might ruin it, but just like one bad brush stroke. And I'm just covering it. Still using the small brush because I want to mimic the structure of the hair as much as possible. Also, the hair is supposed to be like wet slash a little dirty or more like really wet. I'm not really sure what I went for here. I just liked the look these trends were giving like this, so I just went with it, I guess. It is kind of starting to turn into its final form, but there's still a few things left to do. First of all, complete the hair, of course, and then more shading, more details, because as of now, his nose has kind of disappeared, which might have been intentional, but probably wasn't. But if you look at it, do you think it actually kind of resembles at least Avatar's style? Is that what you would expect from them style wise? Is the smile giving the nice or right feelings rather? Or is it just me? I don't know. That just the finishing touches of a few strands of hair left. There. And just going over the places that I feel like I've missed some spots. Then it's the next day. I let this dry and now I'm going over it again with the Centropen liner that I've used before for the outline. Just adding a little more color, a little more definition, so you can see some parts more, also some depth and shadows, just kind of refining it. Now looking at it, because the light is kind of shining on top of this, it looks kind of weird, like the hair look almost gray or blue or something, but it's really, when you look at it in real life, they look just black, pitch black, unless you point a light on them and then they do their magic. Anyway, just doing some details, nice little stuff. And again, I want to go over with some colors. Again, I let the Lisilinka colors activate. And first of all, I'm going to do one more layer of black around it, because I still feel like the background is just too light for my liking, and I want the character to pop out more, so I'm just going around it with the black again. Going for, I guess, the color of like dried blood or something. Since I know I'll be going over the hair again with the sparkles, I actually am not as careful with them as I would have been otherwise, but it's fine since I'm going to be going back anyway and doing the sparkles. All the nice and black. I love how the like darker I do the background, the more the character pops out. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just like adding more and more blacks, and then I get the idea that I might actually want to make this character kind of glow in the dark. So that's what I'll be doing later. Now I'm just going to fix all the mistakes I made, all the hair that I painted over with the black. Again, just with another layer of sparkles. Or if you want the midnight, the color is called midnight and it's gorgeous and I love it. And I know I'm saying it for like the 37th time in this video, but I really love this watercolor and I love the quality and the high pigmentation of the Lisilinka colors so much. Definitely, if you don't know her yet, head over to her website, which I'll be linking in the description down below, so you can get yourself a set as well. They are kind of pricey, but they're actually really worth it. I haven't had a single bad experience. Although they do stain when on basic journal paper, they do not stain at all when used on watercolor paper. Like literally at all. And for the journals, I usually tend to just fix it somehow, use even just the hairspray is fine, and then the glitter stays in place, so that's fine. Anyway, I'm going over it with cherry roll, signing it, and now for the glow that I said before, I'm just going over and around it with some reds and whites, and then with like a soft pastel and dry brush, I'm going over some of the spaces that would otherwise have reds. And now we're onto the glow. Look at the gorgeous, gorgeous glowing of the midnight color. What do you think? That's the finished painting. The sparkles are just amazing. And here you can see even with the inspiration, I guess. So what do you think? Did you think I did a good job? Let me know. And see you next time.